Great. Well, yeah, it's great to be here today. It's great to be at the conference. ATS Network Management is one of the primary distributors of SolarWinds, which is a network security and application monitoring solution. We operate across the entire Africa continent, and we've been involved in network monitoring for probably about 15, 16 years now. I think what has been great for us is we were early inventors or early guys to get involved in this particular part of the market. And a lot of what we're doing was more about educating people that they needed to know how their networks are performing. And over time, people came to realize that we weren't just, we weren't joking, because their networks have grown dramatically. And so our solutions have become more and more important every day. We don't stop at just network monitoring. We look at the application layer, we look at the database performance layer, we look at the RTSM component, and obviously something that builds and is a problem that everybody faces every day is security. So we look at how we manage and monitor security as well. So I think one of the big things that we're talking about at this particular event is observability. Observability has become a very, very powerful environment to manage large and very big networks. It gives deep insight into how the environments are running and making sure that we use not only machine learning and AI to become more efficient, and making sure that we are on top of how the environments are running and make sure that we can become a lot more proactive. Our professionals, our tech professionals out there need assistance. They can't spend so much of their time solving problems, because today we find that organizations have a reasonable sized tech staff, but they're all under pressure because they're most of the time solving problems or putting out fires. We want them to be proactive. We want them to be in a position where we can provide the data and they can make decisions that enhance their ability to provide great platforms and empower the end users to work 24/7. So for me, tech in Africa is vital. I'm being involved and I travel a lot around Africa, going to different countries almost on a monthly basis. I spend quite a bit of time in many different African countries, and I think what we've learned through it is we can't deal with Africa remotely. We need to make sure that we are face to face. We've built great relationships with many of our partners across the continent. And we're seeing success as a result of that, because people can now, there's a lot more trust. It's not just about somebody on a telephone or somebody on the other side of a Teams call. It's about people and relationships. And I think that's vital to building where we go in Africa. I think some of the other concerns in Africa is we look at the number of people who have access to tech or have access to the internet. These are fundamental issues that we're facing every single day. And how are we going to deal with this across the continent? A startling figure that was brought to my attention recently was the fact that within the next 10 or 15 years, 1 in 4 people born in the world will be on the sub-Saharan continent, which means we're going to have an absolute explosion. But we need to make sure that tech and internet is available. Having 400-500 million people on the African continent which don't have access to even LTE, or using technology that is old-fashioned, is not where it's at. We need to make sure we're empowering our youth. The youth are key to where we go in the future. We've got to make sure they have access to the right technology, and our position is to be able to monitor and make sure that's available 24/7. So I think that we've met a lot of people from across the African continent, people from all different countries coming through and having an opportunity to meet and have conversations that we wouldn't have been able to have. So being here has made a huge difference to that. We've also had a number of people from SolarWinds who've joined us at the event, so we're now making sure that we have a local person who's based in Cape Town from SolarWinds, who's now looking after South Africa specifically, and we have the continent manager who's here as well from SolarWinds, from the French part of Africa, and is making sure that we're building the relationships and growing. And I think fundamentally, being part of an event like this, where you see so many people coming from all over the continent, joining forces and coming to share some new ideas and great innovation and new technology, is where things are at. And we know that network performance monitoring and hybrid cloud observability is where the continent needs to focus their attention. Every day we have new ISPs, we have new rollouts of technology, and managing it and making sure it runs efficiently is a vital part of this. Now, to us, our business is all run through partners. We don't sell directly to end users. We work through a number of different partners. We have hundreds of partners in different continents, in different countries. We cover at the moment about 28 countries in Africa, and part of being here is to extend that and to meet more people and introduce more partners to our solutions. Great, thanks so much for chatting to me, and we look forward to seeing a lot more people here today.